thanks everyone for chatting with me. I really appreciate it. This project is a ton of fun. I have to admit, I had a blast watching it and watching you all thunder away uh, in some ways with the dialogue and with each other. Um, what was it that excited you to be a part of Exceptional Beings?
The script and who the character was for me. I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. But I when we first got our sides, or when I received my sides to audition for the role of Athena, um, I was just blown away. And I felt as though she was me and I was her, and I was like, "This is my character. Let's go right now." So I was very happy and very thrilled to be offered the role when the time came, even though I'd already made up in my mind that this was it. And if it wasn't mine, then there was going to be war. So very fitting, right? So I was like, yes, yes. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And then working with, these two characters, gosh, we had so much fun. I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else. It was serendipity for sure.
Yeah. For me, I was really, attracted to a lot of the action and the stunt work that was involved. That was something that I was like, yes, like it's always something that I've wanted to do, and being given the opportunity to do it in a safe setting with stunt coordinators and people who are going to be training me, it was fun. It was so much fun getting to fight, these two. It's a good time.
And this was the first time that you did that, Rachel? Is this what?
Yeah, it was the first. Yep. First, hopefully not last.
That's great. Dane, what about you?
Yeah, you don't turn down the chance to play a Greek god. I mean, you know? You get the offer to play Hermes, you say yes. There's not a lot of thought that goes into that. Like, you want to talk what excited me about the script, Hermes done, check mark, I'm in. And then, of course, you get all the rest of it. You get the script, which is amazing. You get the cast, which is amazing. You get the director, which is amazing. And it all turns into this really cool experience. But, like, what got me excited first? Just the name Hermes.
Well, it's amazing to watch you all go at it, but also like it's fascinating to see the gods play out because they seem so bored, in some ways, like I mean, in an interesting way, like they're just sort of like insatiated with it's like we have to deal with this now, this sort of this incredible attitude, and I think Eric Roberts comes in and he's like boom, but everybody else is just sort of like. But you're asking huge questions as well. It's great work from all of you.
Thank you.
Well, as Njedeh says, as for God, we've been around so long. It's like nothing under the sun is new to us. So it's like, oh, these humans, here we go again. And as we go on our quest, it's like, huh, but who was that one?
Yeah.
So then something spices up our curiosity, and we go down and try and figure it out.
I mean, but almost look at it like you have a job, you've worked on the job for so long, and you know it so well. And like, then all of a sudden something happens that something different happens, and then it spikes your curiosity. So with the gods, it's almost like you have like over 4,000 years of you have over 4,000 years of knowing everything. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you realize you know nothing. And that's the premise.
Well, and I think it's Dane at one point makes the comment and says, we know everything and it scares us, or what makes us nervous is when there's something we don't know.
Yes.
And so absolutely, and that's why I love the dialogue between the characters. It's just so much fun. I was wondering for you all, what do you think makes humanity exceptional beings? There's a lot of conversation about that in this story.
There's so much about it's impossible to logic your way through. And I think that's certainly me taking some of my character spin on it, but that there's so much about being human that's irrational, unexplainable. and yet so very much felt.
For sure. Definitely. I feel like it's, you know, just giving the opportunity or the free will, I would say, to create, just even as a human, your present moments. And that goes into spirituality, and then also just really knowing the power of certain higher selves or entities. But yeah, I think that also is a big part of it too.
We're definitely driven by emotions, and I think, you know, that's something that's explored in the film, is the gods trying to, like Dane said, figure out from a logical standpoint what that means. Because driven by emotions are very illogical. We do things based off feelings, based off instincts, based off who knows what.
Yeah, it's kind of it's really interesting to see from the perspective of the gods who have sort of looked down on humanity, trying figuring this out along the way. Um, Forgive me, is it Njedeh? Am I
Oh
pronouncing?
my goodness, that
Did
was
I do
not
it?
bad. That was not bad.
Did I do it right?
It was almost, it's better than 99% of everybody else. So that was perfect. That was good. I keep waiting for people to mess it up because I enjoy it. I enjoy watching people play it. I know it sucks, but my secret is out. I just love it when people start messing up the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, But that wasn't bad at all.
Now I feel like I've
Yes, that was.
disappointed you. I apologize. No.
I am a bit disappointed. I have to be admit. I am a bit disappointed because I like to give that lecture on, well, when you pronounce the name is Njedeh, but you took that lecture away from me, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But all right. Yeah, you're saying, sorry.
Well, I was just wondering now, for you, what? Wait, forgive me if I know you directed. Did you also write the film?
Yes, I did.
You did. So then, how did you decide which mythology to lean most into? You touch on a number of them, but you really sort of focus in on the Greek gods.
I mean, but you see, the whole and the whole crust of it is just the fact that as much as they're Greek gods, it's basically they're all recycled.
Mm.
Essentially they came from like the gods themselves, they come from somewhere else. They come from it's like even the whole concept of Athena. Athena was something in Egypt. Athena is something else in Greek. Athena is something else in the Roman Empire. It's the whole concept keeps changing. So it's just they are all just recycled religion that keeps moving on, and then it just comes down to that humanity's way of believing in something other than themselves. So that's where that was where the foundation was from. For me, it was just almost the idea of what I find very, very interesting, and even goes to the Bible, even the Quran, and all of that. That all the human beings, all the pillars of holiness that we look up to, even then there's a little bit of flaw in them that basically makes them human, and that was basically the crust of what this was about. In this case, you had scenarios where the gods basically found themselves understanding emotion. That's somewhere at the ending. It's almost like it's curious because she's asking a question about humanity. She's asking a question about a feeling that she is feeling that she doesn't even realize she's feeling it. It's just stuff like that. That's probably the cost of where the love for the script came in.
Mm. Well, I love that idea of this, sort of recycling things because, when you look at humanity, the more things change, as they say, the more they stay the same. We see some of the same flaws, fatal flaws along the way. I was wondering, with that being said, for you all, could you pinpoint what you might think are the modern gods of our culture today? They sort of touched on it. I know Dane mentions a couple things or Hermes rather mentioned a couple things in the there, but I'm just wondering from you what you think the modern gods are in 2023.
The things we worship.
Yeah.
The like button.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which everyone should still subscribe.
My By the way, do your daily prayers, please.
That's right. That's right. Smash that button right now. But you're right. You're right.
Absolutely. And Njedeh said the same, and I guess Hermes, the celebrities, the athletes, material things, fancy jewelry, that sort of thing, for sure. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
And money too. Money is worshipped. Let's not take that away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Depressing? No, it's okay. Just reflecting, because there's nothing I think of in modern culture that we worship that I go, oh yeah, that's really good for us. What a healthy choice, humanity. Well done. Doesn't feel good.
Love? Do we worship love? Is love worshipped?
I think we worship the idea of love, whether we romanticize it, to an extreme.
Couple goals, that whole thing. Yeah,
that's nice.
Right. Yeah.
Could be healthy, unhealthy, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That would be, I think, the healthiest one we've mentioned for sure. But it's interesting, a lot of almost everything we mentioned, other than love, it's like, well, we worship this. It's something that we can see, and it's so interesting. You have this tension here. I mean, one of the most amazing things about these gods, or the things that amazing. Well, I mean, Rachel, about your character is that you can see them, and they're like, you're not supposed to be able to see us.
Right.
So you're supposed to be able to worship things you can't see, but now we take these things, we clench them. As well. I mean, love is a good one. Thank goodness we have a good one on there as well. So, I mean, and maybe this is an unfair question. Forgive me, but I was just wondering, for each of you, if you came face to face with the gods, what would you ask?
What are you doing in my house?
I was having breakfast. Leave me alone.
Just being alive for that long, getting to see so much of humanity and the evolution of the world, there must be some sort of perspective or takeaway, or maybe the opposite. Maybe they're like, this is all pointless.
Yeah, what is this about? What is this about? For sure.
You could actually ask them, what version of the god are you? Because they all have different versions, so you don't want the wrong version out there. So that.
Yeah. You ask too many questions of the wrong version of the wrong god, and they'll kill you just to make it easier.
I mean, if you're gonna ask questions, you might as well get their names right at the
Oh boy.
There you go.
So, that'll just tick them off. But for the three of you in playing on these roles, I was just wondering as well, like, how do you connect with them? Because again, these are very distinct characters, and I know specifically. Well, I mean, they're. I want to be careful how I say this, but they're very human depictions of them, or flawed. Maybe flawed is the way to describe them. But I'm just wondering, from your perspective, what is it that when you were preparing for these roles that you thought, man, I really connect with this aspect of my character?
Well, I mean, just to be able to play a god, first of all, was amazing. Okay. So already you have this air that you're able to bring in. But then also from all the research that I've done, and just being totally interested in the whole mythologies of every facet of it, from every source, as Njedeh said, they all come from, they're the same gods, but they all come from different backgrounds. So bringing all that together, and then Njedeh blessing us and allowing us to just put our own spin on it, our own flair, our own layers in there, was just amazing. It was great, so I thought that was really, really cool.
I think Mina, having lived among humans for so long is, in a sense, more human. It was easier, I think, for me to relate with her because she understands humanity, from living amongst them. And whether or not it's intrinsic to her, these, characteristics of humans, I think she does have a greater understanding of human emotions. And, the thing that I'm not going to say about Mina's relationship to Athena, I think was a strong pull for me in terms of my motivation in relating to her, because that was a driving force for my character, for me in general, just keeping this thread, this thing of love that I as a human can understand, and putting it towards what's coming across on screen.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's one of the big benefits of playing one of the Greek gods, because if I were playing, let's say, a more modern deity, there are a lot of questions you have to ask about what this creature is and how they function. But the Greeks were so petty. They were so petty and small and human and awful to each other, right? So there's lots of very easy ways to connect with them because they were never made all that unrelatable. They were designed to be very, very relatable and very banal, right? They just have a huge capacity for senseless violence that humans don't so much. Yeah, so I think it's very easy to connect with that. All of the same feelings with very little of the introspection and way too much power. What a good time.
That's a great description. I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, very little introspection and too much power. It's
yeah. Yeah, it's the first time I'm vocalizing that, but that feels right.
It really does. That's what I was trying to express before, because they're just like, I can't believe we're still dealing with this, I mean, it just looked like it's such a fun project, and like I said, it looked like it was so much fun to be a part of it. For all of you, I know we're running out of time, but what is it that you hope people will take away from Exceptional Beings?
For me, I hope they get to first enjoy the the dance of the different genres that come in. So beyond, you have like the mainstream, you have the romance, you have the action, you have the fantasy, you have that psychological end of it. So I think the best part of it for me is just the idea of you're going on a path that is not following what everybody else has done. So it has its own path. It's like it's not one of those things that, those formula movies that you're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. But it's like they go through and they're going through this journey, and I hope they enjoy the ride. But the thing is, the best part about the journey is you don't know where it's taking you to, and you just go along for the ride.
Yeah, definitely. I feel multiple messages that are in it, and then also, the refreshing twist of the gods are not necessarily traditionally what you're used to seeing. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I hope it renews their curiosity for the unknown.
Yeah, I hope that it's an enjoyable ride with I hope that people take away a message from it too. I hope that people are able to, besides the fun, the action, and all of that, the journey, at the heart of it is a true message, about love and human condition. So I hope people, whatever that means to them, take that away.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you all and your honesty answering these questions. Thank you so much for your time. The film is a lot of fun, and I wish you the best. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.